cool. Thank you for coming and sharing a reading. And yeah, could you tell us a bit about the background? What you're
Yes,
asking and why?
First of all, glad to be here. And I appreciate your time that you're spending with me today. As I told you, as I wrote in my note, that I'm trying to experience the American dream. I'm a first generation immigrant to United States, living here for last about 22 years now. And recently I resigned from my job to start what I aspired to begin when I came to United States. And that was December 2021. But at this point in time, what exactly happened that my partner, with whom I was trying to start a venture, passed away, unfortunately. And she was my only business connection to the external world here in the United States. I'm still trying. I mean, it is not that, but that has given a new perspective and has little bit shifted on a mental space as to what and how, not what, but how I am going to do it. In the meanwhile, in between the space, I'm trying to manage myself financially and otherwise. What I'm trying to do is to go back to the job market just for the time being. Just for the time being, I am not stopping anything that I started. But at this point in time, my situation requires me to take up something that can give me some regular financial stability so that I can continue my dreams and aspirations and then see where the time takes me. And that was the background of the question that I asked and sent.
Yes, thank you. And the question is a good practical one. What would be a good next step toward getting a new source of regular income?
That's right.
Yeah, I like that. And the answer was hexagram 13, people in harmony, changing at line 5 to 30. Clarity. And it's interesting and maybe slightly surprising since your ongoing quest, as I understand it, is for a partner with whom to continue your business venture. But right now you're looking for a job. But your answer is about harmony between people. It's about connection and collaboration. I find this hexagram is especially about creating harmony with people, finding allies and making friends, as opposed to the friends and allies that you already have, what you're already given. And then hexagram 30 in the background, doing this with clarity, with clear vision and everything that sustains that. So yes, even though right now you're thinking about jobs, the Oracle is still talking about alliance and harmony and connection and collaboration, which is interesting. The name of this hexagram, it means people who act together, act jointly, are unanimous, are allies. I'm going to tell you the broader story of the hexagram in the hopes that things will connect and connections will become apparent to you. Because, coming to people's readings from the outside as I do, I never know where the connections will be. This one follows from hexagram 12, which is called blocked and describes a time when nothing works, basically. So receiving 13 says that you are emerging from that time, and what makes the difference is forming alliances.
Can I say something?
Please, yeah.
This is not that I just started looking for a job yesterday. When you are saying that I'm emerging, I have been looking for some source of regular in the returns for last about 9 months. So if it says that if I'm emerging, I think that should be a good sign.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, and this is how. There's a contrast between the two oracles. The oracle of hexagram 12 said that a noble one's constancy bears no fruit. It's that time when the very best you can do, your greatest and most imaginative, steady persistence gets you nowhere. Hexagram 13 says people in harmony in the wilds, creating success. It is fruitful to cross the great river, and a noble one's constancy bears fruit. So that's the change from what came before. And this is how that time ends, with people creating harmony amongst themselves out in the wilds with new alliances. The wilds, that refers to an area that is outside the boundary of the village and its fields, and before you get to the next village's territory. So it is out beyond the familiar. It is unlikely to be the people you know. It's the stretch. It's the new space. Emphasized by the fact that it says it's good to cross the river, which involves making a commitment and entering new territory and taking a bit of a risk. And with this, then the noble one's constancy bears fruit.
Okay.
Another way to compare this with hexagram 12 is by looking at its component trigrams. Another way it follows from that, and another way you can see the difference. When I talk about trigrams, do you know what I mean?
No.
Well, you'll have seen, I think you cast your reading in an app, didn't you? And you'll have seen it shows you the hexagram you cast, which is a stack of 6 lines. Well, that stack of 6 lines is made of 2 groups of 3 lines. The groups of 3 lines are called trigrams. There are 8 different ones. And whereas hexagrams tend to represent complex human qualities and situations and artifacts, like creating harmony between people, trigrams represent simpler, more elemental forces, ways of moving, forces of nature. It's kind of the system that divides up and describes the whole world in terms of trigrams and their interactions and combinations. So since a hexagram is made of 2 trigrams, that makes a hexagram a picture, often a kind of landscape that's described by those 2 trigrams. And hexagram 13 has the trigram Li, fire and light, on the inside, the bottom 3 lines, and Chen, heaven, 3 solid lines at the top on the outside. So you have a picture of fire below heaven and the flames rising towards the sky. Whereas back in hexagram 12, which I think is the time you're coming from and seeking to escape, there was earth below heaven, which maybe looks like, this is how things are meant to be, but the experience of it is that earth is heavy and it sinks down and you are kind of stuck down here. And heaven is soaring and moving above and doing its thing, and the 2 don't connect. You can't reach up there. There's a sense of things moving apart and nothing is communicating, and that's why nothing can happen. So what changes from 12 to 13, as the noble one's constancy starts to bear fruit, is that the lights come on the inside. You're no longer alienated from the outer realities, but aware of them and joining your consciousness with them. The image text that hopefully you'll have come across in your app describes this. Yeah, it describes this trigram picture and what the wise people would do in response to it, how they'd align themselves with this energy. And this one says, heaven joins with fire, people in harmony. In the same way, the noble one sorts the clans and differentiates between beings. So how does one imagine this scene? I tend to think of the different people gathering and they all have their own campfires. They're gathered round theirs and you're gathered round yours, but all the flames are rising towards heaven. There are different origins and cultures, and the noble one who is seeking to create harmony between people starts by recognizing differences. When you're looking for a business partner, you look for someone who is different from you. who has different skills and
Mhm.
aptitudes and likes doing different things. And likewise, an employer of any description will want you because you have skills they don't and you enjoy things they don't, and so on.
Well, I must tell you that I am doing both things simultaneously. As I told you in my initial remarks, I
Yes.
suddenly found somebody else
Oh, good.
in the just last 1.5 months. And his
Excellent.
skill sets are totally different than what my skill sets are. I am a chartered accountant. He is into construction. So we both are coming together to do something, and we have been discussing for for about 3-4 weeks now. So if you say that, then I think that is something that is resonating with the situation that I am in.